Hey, happy Friday afternoon, Santa Fe. Mayor Alan Weber here, right in the mayor's office on a beautiful Friday afternoon. A lot of things to talk about, coming attractions, the city opening up, this amazing weekend we're having in front of us, and then hopefully an uninterrupted supply of beautiful weather and fun things to do. But first, Dr. Wendy Johnson is here to talk about where we are with COVID, how close we are to getting to where we need to be, some additional precautions to take, encouragement on running through the tape to get vaccinated, and the new opportunity to win some money. The state's trying to push everybody across the finish line, as are mayors across America. President Biden has said this month is a push across the finish line month in cities across America, and mayors across this country, including me. We've all signed up to do everything we can to encourage our communities to get vaccinated, get safe, get ready for a beautiful summer by getting safe for summer. So with that in mind, Dr. Johnson, why don't you give us an update? Cases in Santa Fe County seem to be going down, thankfully, at the same time as the city is opening up, thankfully, but we're not completely out of the woods yet. So situation report from Dr. Wendy Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think that, we're in a really good place, especially in Santa Fe. Almost 75% of us have had at least one shot. Almost 65% of us have had two shots. So we in Santa Fe County are already at the place where the governor wants the whole state to be by June 30th. And I think the state will also get there with everybody with two shots, 60% of us with two shots by June 30th to be completely back open. I think moving forward into the summer and fall, what we're going to see is isolated outbreaks in families, outbreaks in daycare centers, outbreaks in schools, maybe camps. I know a lot of my friends are sending their kids to camps now and, sleeping together in those dormitory kind of situations. It's really important, again, that the rest of us get vaccinated because we don't want to give COVID to our kids. They go to camp, they give it to other kids that are under 12 and aren't at the situation that they can, they can get vaccinated. So 12 and older right now can get the Pfizer vaccine very shortly here within the next couple of weeks. I think you're going to see Moderna also approved for the 12 and older. I'm very encouraged. We looked at our patient population. Already a third of the 12 and older of our patient population at La Familia has already gotten the vaccine. So that's great. People are out there getting the vaccine, even though it's been just I think a month or less that they've been able to get the vaccine, the 12 and under. So I would say right now, what I see in my practice is that either people are vaccinated or they're very, very, they're still wanting to wait. They're still concerned about side effects. And I just want to reemphasize to folks, in the world now, well over 1 billion people have gotten vaccinated. And it's, we have this technology, so we get real-time reports. Everybody, carries around their own personal computer. And if you've gotten vaccinated, you sign up for the system, the VAERS system, the adverse effect system from the CDC. They send you a text. Like the first day, the second day after, how are you doing? How are you feeling? They're recording all of those side effects. If you have any bad side effect or bad, even if it's from another illness, you report it to the CDC. And they're looking at all that data epidemiologically. They're looking at, and that's why they caught the thing about the blood clots that with the Johnson & Johnson, they look at, okay, this many people who got Johnson & Johnson are getting these blood clots. Is that higher or lower than the normal rate in the normal population? And if they can say, no, that's the normal rate, then likely it isn't being caused by the vaccine. And so far in this 1 billion plus vaccines that have been given out around the world, we haven't seen really any adverse events happening at much higher rates than they happen normally. We haven't seen any serious problems that are caused by these vaccines at any rate that's it's very, very low rates of adverse events, far less than 1%, like 1% of 1%, really. So they're very safe. They're very effective. They're effective against the variant so far. That's another encouraging thing. The timeline now, people are like, oh, they were rushed. That's not really true to start with. Some things about the emergency use authorization just allow you to kind of manufacture the vaccine while you're still doing the studies and stuff like that. But now it's really not rushed at all. I mean, now we have pretty much almost 9 months or more of information about these vaccines from the people that were in the original trials. Still very strong immunity, still working very well, still no long-term side effects. So I just encourage everybody, like I said, it's kind of like we're in wildfire season now in New Mexico. That's what COVID's going to be like. You got to watch those sparks that come off. So if a spark of an infection lands in a family or a school or a group where people aren't vaccinated and they're susceptible, it'll spread like a wildfire. And we got to stamp those little sparks out. So again, still important if you're symptomatic to isolate, not to go out in public, even though there are a lot of opportunities to gather now, to stay home, to stay isolated and get tested. That's still important too.
And, there still are some folks who are going to get sick if you don't take the right precautions. Know what the precautions are, wear your mask, use hand sanitizer, be respectful of others who may not be vaccinated,
Right.
Encourage them to get there, and also recognize the symptoms. Again, we haven't talked about the symptoms, but when we started down this journey a year and a quarter ago, we said, okay, be aware, you might lose your sense of smell. Be aware there are cough and other factors that you might suddenly feel. If you have those symptoms, this is the early action can save your life. So quickly, doctor, what are those symptoms again?
Well, most people get a kind of respiratory symptom, fever, cough, congestion, headache, loss of taste and smell. Really not a lot of other illnesses do that to the extent that COVID does. So, if you get any of these symptoms, and some people get migraines, but some people are like, oh, I have this weird headache and I never get headaches. Or it starts with some people with nausea and vomiting even. And so really, I would say any symptom that's out of the ordinary, you might not have COVID, you might have a bad gastroenteritis, which we've also had that virus going around. So good idea to not be in public, isolate yourself, go get tested for COVID if you have any of those symptoms at all. And if you're sick, stay home from work, stay home from social engagements, and don't put other people at risk for getting whatever illness you have, really, if it's COVID or anything else.
Right. So quickly, we have a new popular game in New Mexico that the governor and her team have introduced, where by participating in getting a COVID vaccination, you can win prizes. What can you tell us about the new Wheel of Fortune for New Mexico COVID fighting techniques?
Yeah, there's, a lot of people are doing this. A lot of states are doing these lotteries for people who've gotten the vaccine, and you can sign up for it if you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, once you get it, and you can sign up for it if you already got the vaccine 2-3 months ago. You go on the online. If you go on the vaccine, if you just kind of Google New Mexico vaccine lottery, it will come up. I'm not sure what the website is, but I'll find it right here. Vax to the max is what it's being called. So it's super easy to sign up for it, and it takes like a second, and it's and I think that's maybe the site, vaxtothemaxnm.org. And I think there's a $5 million grand prize, and there's a lot of kind of free passes to different New Mexico attractions and other kinds of goodies on there. So hopefully a lot of us will win, and I signed up already. Some of the airlines are doing, I know that with the frequent flyer programs, some of the airlines are doing their own lotteries for free flights or other kinds of benefits, free upgrades. So There's a lot of benefit you can get from get vaccinated. You don't get COVID, which is benefit number one, but you can also be eligible for lots of nice prizes. So that's great.
And I think we should just be, tell it like it is. This is a push to get everybody across the finish line. The president is saying this is the month to get it done. The governor's saying it. Mayors are saying it. Doctors are saying it. Our frontline responders are saying, let's get this thing across the finish line. We are so close, and we are really a model state, and Santa Fe County is a model county. If you know somebody who's not vaccinated, get them to go for it. Win a prize. Don't win a prize. Prize number one is we all stay safe. We get back to work. We get our economy up and running. The city feels a lot happier, a lot safer, a lot more open, and we all benefit together from looking after each other. So that's the punchline.
Absolutely.
All right.
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. I know you're now, I used to say you were our version of Dr. Fauci. Now you're our version of Smokey the Bear. Trying to make sure that
I
we
love
want to fight.
Smokey Bear. I love Smokey Bear. He's my favorite.
And
So,
a New Mexico native. So,
yep.
Everybody, let's fight the forest fire of COVID before it breaks out.
Yeah. Also the real forest fires. Be
Those
safe
two.
for everybody. Okay. I'll
All
see
right.
you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Doctor. Have a good week. Well, I think the message continues to be very much the same, which is we're doing well. We're making huge progress. We are an exemplary community. We get an A+ for our response to COVID. In the heart of COVID, people stepped up, took care of each other, looked after each other. Our first responders were heroic, from nurses and doctors to police, fire, EMTs, but also people who stock the supermarket shelves and work in the pharmacies, and city workers who kept delivering services. Now we're coming through it. We're not quite done, but the feeling out there is good. And the spirit is alive and well in Santa Fe. We are coming back strong. Let's finish strong. Let's get everybody, get some medicine in your arm. Let me review some good things to talk about. There is a reason why I have on my Fuego shirt, and that is because tonight at 5:30, it is play ball time in Santa Fe. The Fuego are back. We missed them last year. This year, opening night is tonight at the ballpark. And I want to tell you, this is a club. I've met the players. I've met the manager. It's an impressive group of young ball players and a tremendous manager. He gave me a copy of the Fuego handbook. There actually is a Fuego team handbook, how to be a Fuego team member. And it's exciting. It says we'll be playing an exciting brand of baseball, which emphasizes pitching, defense, speed, and hustle. It is going to be a fun team to watch and a classy team. So these are the rules of the road for the Fuego, and it's impressive. They are committed to being great examples of ball players, athletes, and young men playing a game they love in a way that represents the highest standards of conduct. So a great big shout out to the Fuego as the season starts. It's fun, it's entertaining, it is local, it is something we can all root for as we start the reopening of Santa Fe, the summer. The activities that we missed last year are coming back strong this year. Another thing that happened today that was a parks related event, really a very moving one, was the dedication of Ron Shirley Alto Park. Ron Shirley, for those of you who don't remember, a beloved longtime parks director, parks and rec director, who started out as a laborer at the bottom and worked his way all the way to the top to being the director of Parks and Rec. Beloved, hardworking, humble, do anything for the community, give back, work hard, insist on others giving their best, like the Fuego, professional all the way. And so today there was a huge outpouring at Ron Shirley Alto Park. Two former mayors, Mayor Delgado and Mayor Pick, were there. Ron's family, extended family, including his dad, who had been a public works director in his time. So a family truly devoted to the well-being of Santa Fe, and a very heartfelt and moving ceremony to dedicate the park and have today be Ron Shirley Day in Santa Fe. The day for me started out early at over on Jaguar Drive with our parks crew who were over there. They had started at 4 in the morning to clean up the medians, cut the weeds. They were out there with their equipment, with their safety glasses on, their gloves, to spruce up Santa Fe. So our current parks director, Melissa McDonald, and I went over and gave them some breakfast burritos. There was a run on red over green, for the record, clear preference for red, but a lot of hard work going on Jaguar Drive to make it pretty, clean, and handsome. The crew was going to move on to another location, moving around the city, cleaning up the weeds, the medians, keeping the city looking its best. Other things you need to know about while we're talking about cleaning up the city: the first weekend of the month, June 5th and 6th, free green waste days at BERT, 2600 Buckman Road. Free green waste days, June 5 and 6. We are now in the process of bringing city employees who are working at home back into the building. So you'll see a steady stream of reopenings of city buildings, the libraries, other parts of the city hall that have been closed down. We'll see a hybrid council meeting on Wednesday with council members present, but the public accessed to the meeting through still technology, Zoom and Facebook or YouTube. So we're getting it up and running as we come back out of COVID. It's very exciting. The city is coming back. Our employees who were at home are coming back. Of course, many of our employees never left. They had to report for work because their work had to be done in person, either in a vehicle, on the streets, on the roads, filling potholes, dealing with the day-to-day work of keeping the city running. But some of the buildings were closed. Those will now start to open up. And as the city opens up, you are going to see an amazing boom in the economy. And I know it's already here because we got the report from a finance department this week about our increase in gross receipts tax, the tax we get when people go out to dinner or shop at a store, buy something for their family, for their friends, go to a hardware store, whatever it is, the city gets some revenue. So here's an interesting snapshot of the recovery. For the month of March of 2021, our gross receipts were up almost 22% over March of 2020. 22%. Now that's an amazing number. Think about it though. March of 2020, the city was in the process of closing down to COVID. So of course, as restaurants closed, as hotels closed, as retail stores closed, our gross receipts tax went way down. That's why we had to cut back our spending, stop hiring. Our gross receipts fell off a cliff. But go back a year before that, March of 2019, our tax receipts for this March were 7% higher than March of 2019. And that's amazing because the economy was on fire in March of 2019. So the fact that we were higher than 2020 is probably not a surprise. The fact that we are higher by 7% over 2019 is a big deal. And where did those increases come? Retail trade was up dramatically. Food services and hotel accommodations grew. Construction is strong across the city. It's an amazing boom time for building housing, adding on units, doing accessory dwelling units. The city needs housing, responsible building with water, with facilities in place. We are seeing a very large boom in affordable housing in Santa Fe. Our healthcare has grown. Interestingly enough, professional, scientific, and technical services were up from March 2019 by $2 million. So that tech side of our economy is growing. And why does it matter? Why does it matter? It matters for a number of reasons. Number one, that money is an indication of the return of our local economy. It means our mom and pop stores, our restaurants, our hardware stores, our retail stores, the people who work with their hands to build things for us, to repair things for us, those jobs are back. And that's a great thing. Those paychecks are back. As far as the city is concerned, it means we are going to have money to provide services for you in the year ahead. We'll be able to do more work in the neighborhoods, more pothole patching, more weed whacking. We'll be able to deliver better and more services across the board as we see this dramatic increase in economic activity. Tourists are coming back to Santa Fe. The good news there is that we're going to see all of our favorite iconic and historic fiestas, markets will be back. The opera will be back. Indian market, Spanish market, folk art market. The Lensic is opening up again. We're going to see all of our favorite musical activities coming back to life this summer. Santa Fe is going to be fun. It's going to be safe. It's going to be open. And it's going to be a return to the joy and the blessings of living in the most beautiful place on earth. So that is a report on how we are moving forward. Baseball tonight is just one part of it. There are already more than 200 events that have applied to the city for permits for this summer. And that's a big deal. Those events are going to bring back life and fun and energy and money, economic growth to Santa Fe. And you're going to see this city blossom and come back like no place else on earth. The sacrifices we made for a year, shutting down, staying in our homes, wearing masks, being safe with hand sanitizer, all of those sacrifices were hard. They exacted a price. They took out our normal way of living and made us replace it with a lot of very, very stressful isolation. Now we're coming out the other end. We're coming out strong and resilient and compassionate and loving and with a lot of joy. So please, this weekend, if you haven't gotten your vaccination, please get started. You're eligible for the prizes that Dr. Johnson was mentioning. But the real big prize is safe family life. So get vaccinated and get out and enjoy Santa Fe. This is a beautiful time of year. Come to the ball game tonight. Have some fun. Cheer for the Fuego. Have some fun in a park. Have a picnic. Enjoy the beauty, the fun, the blessings of living in Santa Fe. I will see you next week. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take care of our community. And together we will continue to do the thing we do the best, and that is to take care of this city that we love, the city of Santa Fe. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you next week.